Okay, remember how I said, like, this was back in July. Remember when I was talking about this box office surprise that Grown Ups 2 had beaten Pacific Rim? I think we're kind of back onto this scenario this weekend, because I just watched Schmoes box office Sunday thing, and man, I gotta tell you, I was more than surprised this week. I mean, not necessarily like how I was for Pacific Rim and Adam Sandler, but this is a different type of surprise. And let me just say this, okay? Here's how I predicted the scores, okay? I think I'm actually going to work my way down from 1 to 5 rather than 5 to 1 because it's really confusing. I mean, at the top of the box office, I honestly thought, I think, Kick-Ass 2 would have been number 1, and then Elysium was going to be number 2, then number 3 was going to be We're the Millers, and then, let's see, number 4, I think it was going to be Jobs, and then 5 was going to be Lee Daniels, the Butler. Yeah, you know how many I got right? 0. I got none of those things right. Here are the actual scores. Coming in at number 5 was Planes. Now, I remember I was saying that in my review, I think that no one's going to probably remember this movie. I might be wrong. I mean, some kids are still getting their money's worth, but I feel like, I'm really surprised that this movie's still at the top 5, in the top 5 rank of the box office. But honestly, in all retrospect, I'm just really glad Sea of Monsters didn't make it back again. That's probably the most important thing right now. But honestly, I wasn't a big fan of Planes. I didn't think people were going to actually, waste all their money on this. Which they're really not, but, still, it's still making a little bit of money. Not a little bit more than kind of what I thought for a little bit, but honestly, I still think it's going to be, I still think no one's going to remember by the end of the year, but we'll see. We'll just see what happens. Coming in at number 4, Kick-Ass 2. Oh my god. Kick-Ass 2 at number 4 in the box office. Opening weekend. Man, I was like, what? The first movie was a huge success. And now we come to this one. I honestly don't know. Everyone that I knew was super excited for this one. Everybody was. And I don't know if it's because, like, critics had slammed on the movie and made people decide, not to go see this movie, or the fact that people probably had better things to do. I really don't know. I can't give you my full synopsis, not like I did in my other box office surprise video or whatever. But that's another surprise. I think everyone thought that this movie was going to be number 1 this weekend. Turns out, I was wrong. Now let's get to number 3. Coming in at number 3 is Elysium. Now, Elysium was the number 1 movie at the box office last weekend. And I was really happy for it because I thought it was a fantastic movie. 9.5 out of 5. Not 9.5 out of 5, 9.5 out of 10. My bad. It's a fantastic movie. I love this movie. It was awesome. It's still making a little bit of money. I really wish this movie was more... I wish this movie was just a little bit more... I wish people would go see this movie for how good of a movie it really is. It's a fantastic movie. Neil Blomkamp, I know he's only made like a couple movies. District 9 and Elysium. And I know they don't make a whole lot of money, but honestly, they're fantastic movies. Go check out Elysium, for God's sakes. And then also number 2, which honestly was actually flipped around with my Elysium for my predicted score box office, and that is We're the Millers. And We're the Millers still remains at number 2 this weekend. It was number 2 the last weekend, and it still is number 2 this weekend. It just managed to beat out Elysium because honestly, people wanted to see more of a comedy, and I get that. It's been a while since we've seen something to laugh at, like This Is the End, and we get to see something like that again in August, and hopefully The World's End will also do something like that as well, where we can just laugh very hard at some of the funny comic-like humor, and I guess that's what people wanted to see more of this week. And now the number 1 spot, the number 1 movie of the weekend that I honestly had the least expectations for even getting close to number 1. I barely decided to make it at number 5 on my predicted list. And you know what that movie is? Lee Daniels, The Butler. It got number 1 at $25 million. I was really surprised. At first, I didn't even think the movie was actually worldwide release, and apparently it was. I didn't know that until like just now, but I even talked about my review. I loved the movie. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and I'm not saying I didn't want this movie to be number 1. I just didn't think it was going to be number 1. Because always you want the movie that's always the most fun. Honestly, I just don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I will say this though. Out of a lot of this past year, there have been some crazy things that happened in the box office over this past year so far. There's been some crazy stuff. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that I was surprised that Paranoia didn't make the list, but let's face it. That movie got 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. You think anyone's going to go see that movie? No. I mean, I didn't personally hate that movie that much, but I didn't like it. But let's face facts. I didn't think the movie was going to get anywhere. I think it's probably number 6. I don't know where it is. But I don't know. But anyway, that's my take. I mean, I'm just really surprised that Lee Daniels the Butler got number 1 over a movie like Kick-Ass 2. Or, yeah, over Kick-Ass 2. Now, Jobs, I know some of the reviews of the movie, I guess people just weren't looking forward to biographical pictures, something like that. And I don't know. I don't even know if it is worldwide release. Apparently, that's what I thought everyone else was saying. So I honestly don't know that much. But I will say this. I was very surprised at the box office this weekend, for sure. This is more like a more drastic measure than Pacific Rim losing to Grown Ups 2 by like 1 slide. Kick-Ass 2 lost to the box office by 4 slides. And Lee Daniels, for me, went up 4 extra slides from where my predicted score was. So I'm really surprised about that. But then again, like I said, I love the movie. I think it was Oscar worthy, and it's nice to see something like that get number 1 at the box office. I mean, that's just me. But that's my take on the box office this weekend. And like I said before, you know, leave me some more suggestions for videos for next week or all this week. You know, since this is my last week of summer. This probably is your last week of summer too. So make this count. Leave me suggestions, and hopefully I will see you sometime tomorrow.